Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be making another video for you today. The sun is like beaming right now. Today's topic is going to be how to identify that you are dealing with the fear of success, and then some tools and techniques to move through it. It has been such an amazing past few weeks. I launched the Patwa challenge, and so we're actually starting tonight, and we are going to be going a full month of practicing our Patwa, slaying our shame, doing identity work. I did a coaching call the last few days and they loved it. So there's so much coming in my world and there's so much happening in my world that I can't wait to tell you about. The reason why I want to talk about this today is because I realized that, oh my gosh, right now I'm going through a bout of fear of success. And I am very aware of my body. I do somatic work, I teach somatic work, I facilitate somatic work. So I'm very aware of how my body responds when I'm having this fear of success. And the number one thing that happens for me is I go into my head. I go into my mind. And once you're in the mind, you are gridlocked. It doesn't leave enough space for life force, for God essence, for you to be able to exhale. Let's talk about it. For me, how it shows up is I will physically get headaches. I will physically have my head hurting. And that for me is always a clear sign, oh, we've let it go too far. It's made it to the physical plane. It's gone way too far. What are you afraid of? Let's sit with it. Let's work through it. And let's get to the other side. That's my number one sign. I tend to have changes in my diet. Like, I'm not somebody that has a ton of cravings. We all have our vices, right? But I don't have a ton of cravings, but I tend to gravitate more towards sweets when I'm feeling that, because sweets have this nurturing, sweet energy to them. And so when you gravitate towards sweets, it's a sign that there's some desire for nutrients to be held, that mother energy. That's when I do that work. So I just got really in tune with what my body does and needs. And a lot of that came from the book You Can Heal Yourself by Louise Hay. You guys know that's one of my favorite books ever. I did a whole series on TikTok on this years ago, back in like 2020, and you all loved it. That book will tell you everything you need to know about healing your body, your mind, your spirit, and just the symptoms that you get physically, where they're coming from. And I've healed so many things physically using that book as a reference. 3 different signs that you are experiencing a fear of success or have experienced a fear of success. Number 1 is you're rushing. This is always such a huge sign for me. If I'm rushing, then I know, okay, I'm experiencing a fear of success, because number 1, what am I running towards? What am I running from? What am I running from? Why am I rushing? Where is the rush in my life? If you feel like you're constantly rushing from this thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, what is it that if you slow down would come up? Like, what is it that you're avoiding through this rushing? What is it that you're not wanting to see, wanting to face through this rushing? People will say, well, my lifestyle is just so hectic and yada, yada, yada. Okay, true. How much of it is necessary and how much of it is put there in the way just so you don't have to deal with the thing that you actually want to deal with? That goes layers and layers deep. Everyone obviously has a different situation, but a lot of times we will put obstacles in our way just so that we don't have to deal with the truth of the matter, the fear, right, of success, the fear of having clarity, because now it's a responsibility that I have to now do something, because I know ignorance is bliss. So when you're rushing, you can just say, I didn't have time, I didn't know, I was doing something else. But ultimately, you have some sort of say or control over it. And if you really were to look and write down every single thing that you're doing, I guarantee you're going to find at least one thing that's not necessary or that you can outsource. And that would leave you with more time and more availability to work through whatever it is that you might be running from or towards. Okay? So if you're running anywhere, that is a problem because that means you're not present. Let me know how that's resonating with you. By the way, if you haven't already liked, comment, and subscribed, what are you doing? Like, comment, and subscribe, okay? I love that our family here is growing on YouTube. Everyone has said this at some point, including myself. I'm stuck. I'm confused. I'm lost. I don't know where to go next. That is the number 1 sign. If you're saying, I don't know, I'm confused, I'm lost, I'm stuck, number 1 sign that you have a fear of success, because it is my knowing, truth, and belief that we always know that there is a knowing that lives within each and every one of us that can never, ever, ever be changed. There is an eternal knowing that lives within us. And so anytime the words I don't know comes out of your mouth, you are denying the existence of the eternal knowing that lives within you. We always know. And that's something that I live by, and it's something I will die by. We always know. The question is, are we brave enough to admit that? Are we brave enough to know? Are we courageous enough to know? Can we hold the fact that we do know? Can we move with the fact that we do know? That's what's really important. And so if you feel like you're confused, you're lost, you're stuck, that means that your awareness has moved from the body into the mind, like I was saying earlier. And once you move into the mind, again, it's a gridlocked energy, it's a stuck energy. There is actually a beautiful experience that I had. Now, looking back on it, it's beautiful, but I'll share with you briefly here. I went to Costa Rica and I was able to do some plant medicine. You all know that I'm also a facilitator, but I was able to engage in some plant medicine. And one of the first things that happened was I got to experience my mind. I was in the Maloka, which is the tent, and I was experiencing it as my mind. So my mind was externalized, if you can imagine that. And I felt trapped. I felt like I was in a maze, you know, those big mazes that you see that have like there's no way to get out. I was like in this maze and the room became a maze. I was still seeing the room, but it felt like a maze and it felt like I was never, ever going to get out. It was actually terrifying in the moment. But now looking back, it was a beautiful experience because that was the first time I ever got to experience what it is that the mind does to you and how it makes things seem and look. And most people will never have that experience in their entire life to see their mind externalized, but I got to have that experience and it was life changing and altering. I've never been the same since. The mind will trap you. It will make you think that there's no way out and that this is the only way. It will have you rushing. It will have you running from or running towards things always. It will never let you be present because when you're present, you realize that it is an illusion, that all of it's fake, that it's smoke and mirrors, none of it is real. The mind and the ego intertwined, as we know, and the ego fears death the most. So it fears non-existence the most. So if it doesn't exist, then it's like, what is there beyond that? Everything. But the ego doesn't know that. When you feel confused, when you feel lost, when you feel stuck, that's a sign that you have a fear of success because the eternal knowing within you has the answer. It's living within you. And once you're able to move past and remove the layers of fear and confusion and all of that and move out of the mind into the body, the truth then has somewhere to land. And that's what we're going to talk about when I'm sharing with you on the other side of this, the tools that you can use. Number 3 sign that you know that you are in a fear of success state. You have lost the pleasure frequency. You are no longer connected to presence or pleasure. If you are no longer present, if you're no longer able to have the sensory experience of pleasure, have the felt, lived, embodied experience of pleasure, you are dealing with a fear of success. Now we're going to go into what tools and techniques that you can use when, not if, when you experience this. Because like I said, I'm experiencing it currently and I'm working through it real time on camera right now with you. And it's bringing me so much joy and so much pleasure to do this, but it's going to happen. And it's going to happen in different times in your life. It's going to happen as you level up. Right now, I'm doing a huge quantum leap. And so it's happening again, and it will happen again in the future. So it's not about if, it's about when. And when it happens, how do you deal with it? Let's talk about that. I'm going to start with the pleasure piece, since that's what we ended on, and it's my favorite, if you couldn't tell. Reconnecting with your essence through pleasure is the number one way that you can start to move out of the fear of success. What I mean by this is your essence is so unique to you, and the things that make you feel pleasure and bring you pleasure, joy, and happiness are not always going to be the same things as others. So you might be somebody that loves nature and gardening and being out amongst the trees and talking and crying in the forest and hugging a tree. That might be you. Do that. That will bring you right into the present, and that will bring you so much pleasure. That will put you on the pleasure frequency, which I talk about a lot in my work. If you're somebody that loves beauty, right? Like I love beauty. I love nature as well. I love beauty. If you're somebody that's a beauty lover, making sure that you're keeping your beauty practices, because that is so important for you. So making sure that your skin, your hair, your internal health, your gut, everything is feeling really, really good, because that's going to keep you in that pleasure frequency and keep you sensitive to it. Whatever your essence is, I don't know your essence, but whatever it is, connect directly to it. The thing that is so you, that you would do no matter what was happening in your life, that would be a part of your life, reconnect to that, and that's going to instantly bring you into presence and instantly put you on the pleasure frequency. Also super important is slow down. When you slow down, intentionally, consciously slowing down your breath, slowing down your speech, slowing down your walking stride, slowing down how you cook, slowing down everything. When you slow down, you are able to leave that beautiful, juicy in-between space. And that in-between space is where truth lives. It's where everything that exists lives. The space between words. That's it right there. That void. That's where it all is. That's where it all exists. That is where truth is. So whatever it is you were confused, lost, etc. about, slow down and give it some place to land. And when you slow down, you become present. You move from your head to your body, and you're giving it somewhere to land. When it lands, you might not know until it happens. It might take a day, it might take a week, it might take an hour, but it will land inevitably. When you're in the body, it will have space to land. Like for me, it's creating. So when I feel this coming up, I immediately start creating. Even when I'm like, I don't know what to create, I'm stuck, I turn on the camera, I start creating, and what comes out is always something that I need, and the people that engage with my creation, they also need it. So if this was helpful to you and you made it to the end of the video and you're part of the fam and you're subscribed, I want you to comment. I don't know why I always want to say a brown heart emoji. There's something about that grounded energy of the brown heart emoji. So leave a brown heart emoji. Leave your thoughts on this video. Do you want more like this? How are you enjoying the content style? So many people have asked me, by the way, about Substack. And I did dabble in Substack very briefly, like a year ago. And I find that I enjoy being on camera so much more. I enjoy the experience of getting ready and dolled up for you guys and then being able to talk to you. As much as I love writing, years ago, that would have been more my go-to before I wrote my first book 6 years ago. And I've always loved writing, and I always will. I write everything. And there will be seasons, I might go back to a season where I want to do more writing. Right now, I'm loving this. It's bringing me pleasure. It's bringing me joy. So you're going to see a lot more of me on here, a lot more content, and hopefully I'll get to see some of your beautiful faces in person for my in-person events, retreats, and more. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.